Good morning, traders. So we're still using the Bill Williams and looking at the Aussie, the South African top 40. Now, we're still very much trading inside this range, and you can see I've drawn the levels in, and not really a daily level, but more of a 4-hour level, and I'll show you now why I say that. But anyway, the reality is we have rallied, we are going sideways, and we've been going sideways for most of this month. I mean, pretty much from this bar here to there. So for the last 11 trading days, we've been going sideways. So it's up one day, down the next day, up one day, down the next day. So the thing that is brewing at the moment is the oscillator is starting to drift back to the downside here, which is a signal for me anyway. We are brewing this flat top triangle within the range, okay? So that is something which we need to pay attention to, and there are sort of 3 touches on this trend line at the moment. So I would expect us, if we do tag this, the buyers do step in there and try and push us back up to the top. And it looks like the buyers are actually trying to set up a flat top triangle here. Okay, so not crystal clear, but what I normally find is in situations like this, when there's a lot of uncertainty, the breakout, whichever way it breaks, is normally pretty volatile. Okay, so we look at the 4-hour. You can see last 2 weeks, okay, have been pretty much sideways inside this range. So that's why you can see why I drew this level in here. There's the previous swing high, and you can see how we pretty much tested it 1, 2, 3 times. Low, higher, low, higher, low. Pretty much a flat top. Or you could argue high, lower high, lower high. Okay. Basically, all that's would give us then is a ever so gentle or slight consolidation triangle to the downside. Okay. And I can actually make it more complex by drawing another line along those levels and drawing another line along here and showing you my all-time non-favorite pattern, the diamond. But anyway, so let's just leave those out, and I'm going to delete that one. So there are pretty much 2 scenarios. Let's try to keep this as simple as possible, especially when we are going sideways like this. Is we are either going to continue going sideways in between these 2 levels of this range. Obviously, we will break out one way or another in the future, but maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this week, maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe the month after. Difficult to call that. We just got to trade when we see the breakout. So the other scenario is that we are creating these higher lows, and based on what I see here, I'm expecting that to continue. So I would expect us to probably gap down, come down to 47,650 area, okay, before we consolidate for another move to the upside. So nothing on the awesome oscillator telling me anything except that the momentum is still to the upside, so ever so slightly to the upside. We are above the 0 line, which collates with us being above the alligator right now. But for me, the alligator is flat. It's been flat since last week, and it's still flat. So in other words, it's sleeping. There is no direction right now. This is ranging. Okay, the Williams percentage R is coming back down to the bottom area, and every time it comes to the bottom, we see a bit of a bounce over the last 2 weeks. So I would expect the same to happen again. Okay, so let's just get down to the hour, and we can take it from here. So again, lots of volatility early on in the morning, and then we kind of just rolled over, and it was quite a big move actually. I think it was 470 odd points, and as I said, this gap down the bottom here was looking to be the one that we were going to target, and we targeted it pretty well. And then I don't even think we closed the Brooks gap. Oh, we did. Okay, so remember, that's my Brooks gaps there. So that was a previous high, that's the inside tail. We broke through it. We haven't tested the inside tail. Here we came back, missed it with that bar, but then we got it with the second bar. Okay, so we've also got the oscillator group to downside here, and nothing really on the awesome oscillator. Okay, so we have broken through the alligator, but as I said, if you're looking at the bigger time frame, that's irrelevant right now as far as I'm concerned. This is in a channel sideways, and that's what we need to trade. Okay, so those are levels we're looking for. So I'm looking for us to more than likely gap down today. So let's just have a look at what's going on. So 10 cent is down 0.8%. The US closed down pretty much 1%, just over 1%. The Nasdaq and the S&P yesterday, and they're ever so slightly down at the moment. 0.4% down at the moment. So I do expect us to gap to the downside, but whether we break below the 1 hour 200 EMA or not, that is the question, or whether we tag sort of somewhere around 47,600, I would say. Yeah, 47,600 would be an area to watch for. So it'll be this trend line, this upward trend line here. Okay, so anyway, I'm expecting a gap down, and what happens after that gap down is the critical aspect here. Do we find some support, which I do suspect we're going to do? We'll find some support somewhere down this level. This level that I've got drawn in, 47,500, is not crystal clear. I mean, depending on the time frame, I can tidy this up. I can extend it to 47,400, for example. There's a previous breakout. That's probably a clearer reflection rather than this inside tail here. Just bring it down to where everything lines up. That lines up nicely. These tails line up. That tails line up. This area lines up nicely with it. So that's kind of my view. I do expect this range to continue. I'm not entirely convinced about the diagonal, especially with the Aussie. The Aussie tends to ignore diagonal, so it'll adhere to it for a bit, and then all of a sudden when you want to put a trade in on that diagonal, it'll ignore it and go down to a horizontal level. So yeah, let's just get to the half hour, because I think the closing range breakout, let's just get rid of all the noise. Closing range breakout strategy for the Aussie, which normally works out pretty well, I think would have frustrated you a little bit yesterday, because so for those of you that are new, don't understand this, the last hour of trading, which is the last half hour bar, which was pretty much these two bars here, is my closing range. Okay, so normally you can look to the left here, you see there's the last two, pretty well structured. We broke below it and then continued down. So that's a range, so you can just basically trade the range here. And that's the range height. And if I extend that down, you'll see that that did not play out. It came close. Well, actually it did, sorry. Perfectly on it before bouncing off. Okay, so that played out, but the rule of this really is you look for a lower time frame close beneath or above this range. Now, if I go to, most normal people would use the 5 minute for this strategy. You'll see we had a 5 minute rejection off the bottom of the range. We then had a break, but then buyer stepped in, more buyers stepped in, and they drove it back up. Okay, and then you can see we've got a gap up above it, and then a pullback. So yeah, there was no real clear direction. So this here you would have been forgiven thinking your short is here. Sorry, your short is entry is here, but your stop would have been here. And look what would have happened. It would have stopped you out, and only then broken through. Okay, so yeah, so it would have been a difficult one to play, but it did play out in the end. Got it pretty spot on. But you can see here's a proper break, and there's a retest of the break. So they would have probably been the safer bet to trade from there, but it wouldn't have given you much because that would have been 250 points. Anyway, right, so I think I just want to close off with the ichimoku. It'll just give us a little bit of a better picture of what's going on. So starting off in the hour, there's no indication of anything on the ichimoku right now. It's sideways. We're in and out the cloud, above the cloud, below the cloud. There's nothing here that's showing you anything. If we look at the 4 hour, pretty much the same scenario. You can see we flat with the ichimoku. We did have a bearish cross here, and it looks like we've got another bullish cross here. So there's nothing really to write home about there. And the daily, as I said 2 weeks ago, we are very far from Kijinsen on the daily. So I would expect sideways or even a pullback to come and test this cloud break or catch up to Kijinsen. And that's kind of what I'd be waiting for on the longer time frames to get in on this. So nothing really that we can follow up on here. Okay, so just to summarize, that is my view. I suspect we are very much in a range. Just tidy that up on the hour so we can get the exact levels. Yeah, there it is there. So I would expect us anywhere between, put both lines in. So anywhere between 47,620 and 47,445, I'd expect buyers to step in and start driving this price back to the upside. And the critical level at the top is really this 48,320 area that we need to get through. Okay, so that's my view of the Aussie today. We are in a channel. We are going to stay in this channel for, I reckon, pretty much most of this week at this stage. I think this is going to continue into this week. But, it could be setting up for a break to the downside. Now, one of the things that I do trust is when we're in a sideways range like this for longer than 20 bars, and we're now being here for 37 bars, you have a 50-50 chance of it breaking either way. Okay, so in other words, the probability of it actually being a top is a lot higher as well. So you just need to be careful. So anyway, for me, I'll watch price action on sort of the 30-minute, looking for something like a pin bar or an inside bar or engulfing pattern like this off the level. That would give me the indication to be long, and my target will be top of range. Okay. If we do get a break, I can't even, I don't trust the break to the downside. I don't have a level. Well, I suppose let's just be decisive here. So this daily level here of 47,500, around 47,500. We'd want a daily close below that. If we get a daily close below that, that would maybe give me some confidence we're moving to the downside. But looking at this on the daily, even just looking back to last month, so you've got December and January. December was chaos. January has been chaos. So even that wouldn't convince me. So yeah. Anyway, guys, to be honest with you, I haven't traded this for probably 3 weeks now because I haven't been comfortable with what I see. And I think I'm still not comfortable with what I see. Now we are closing gaps. We are following a little bit of structure. So I'm not entirely convinced either way. I think if you want to trade this, I'd look for a long off the bottom here and move the top. But for me, the DAX probably got a better setup. Even the Dow's got a stronger setup. There's more structure there, which will allow us to trade that structure better. Anyway, guys, I hope that helps you somewhat. Trade this channel because I do believe this channel is still in place. Until we get a daily close above or below the channel, this channel is in play. Okay. And why I'm saying a daily close is because we have been doing this for an extended period of time. Okay. Sorry, I just want to, the weekly So at this stage, this weekly reversal is looking like it could play out, but we're only on Tuesday, so anything's possible. And we are grouped to the upside here. So weekly signals for a short continuation to the downside, daily signals for a range, 4-hour signals for a range, 1 hour for a range, half hour for a range. So anyway, guys, I would trade the range until we get a weekly or a daily. I'd say daily close below 47,500, 47,496 to be exact, but 47,500 is the area we want to watch. Okay, anyway, guys, that's it for me today. I hope that helps. Whatever you do, stay safe, keep those stops really tight, and enjoy your day. Catch you later. Cheers for now.